Hey everybody. Today I'm going to be taking you through an installation of ROS iron, ROS2 iron. This is going to be done in tandem with my GitHub repository, Learning ROS with Python Turtle, developed in tandem with Dr. Wen and Dr. Oaks of Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. And what we're going to do today is we're just going to show the instructions for how to actually install ROS2 iron on a fresh computer. The link to this repository is down below, and in order to find the instructions, just navigate to the ROS2 directory and then select the ROS Iron installation Jupyter Notebooks file. So first, we're going to start by installing Chocolatey. So what I have here is I have a fresh virtual machine of Windows 10. This also works with Windows 11, so just follow along as follows. The instructions here on the webpage are in Windows 11. I'm going to be doing it on Windows 10, but the execution is the same. So first thing that you're going to have to do is you're going to have to open up a PowerShell. So for PowerShell, you need to just go to your Windows search bar and type in PowerShell. And then when it comes up, make sure you select to run as administrator, because you're going to need administrator privileges in order to run this. So when we open up the program, we're going to type in the command get dash execution policy. When you run that command, one of two things is going to pop up. It's either going to say all signed or restricted. Now we want it to say all signed. So if it says restricted, what you're going to do is you're going to type the command set execution policy space all signed. It's going to come up with this little message about execution policy change. Just press Y and hit enter. So then if we run the previous command, get execution policy, you should now see that it says all signed. Now you're going to go over here to the repository, and you're going to copy this long chain of commands right here. I'm going to copy that. Open up your PowerShell, paste it, and hit enter. This is going to install Chocolatey for you. And there we go. Chocolatey is now installed on your computer. So if you want to make sure that everything worked correctly, just go ahead and type Choco into your terminal, and it should come up with a message similar to this. You can see I have Chocolatey version 2.2.2 installed. If that doesn't come up, then that means the installation failed for some reason, and just go back and repeat the first few steps. Alright, so next up we're going to have to install Python. Now it's important here to close out your Windows PowerShell. You will not need it for this step, and if you install Python through this, it's going to install the wrong version. So close out your Windows PowerShell. Next you're going to have to open up a command prompt, and when you just type in command prompt, or alternatively you can just type CMD into your Windows search bar, and make sure you select to run as administrator just like before. You can hit yes when it prompts you, and it's going to take you to a window that looks like this. Now you are going to run the command here to install Python via Chocolatey. So you're going to type choco install -y python -- version space 3.8.3. And you need this specific version for ROS2 iron. ROS2 tends to not like any other version of Python, and iron is very volatile in this manner, so make sure you have 3.8.3 installed to your C drive, which is what this does. So if you're following the steps here, then you'll be a-okay. Okay, and now you're going to see that Python version 3.8.3 was successfully installed. If you're not unsure about it, you can check here. You can see Python version 3.8.3, and if you're still unsure, or maybe you had Python installed previously, just open up your File Explorer, go to this PC, go to your local disk, and you should see Python 38 installed right there in your C drive. That's where you want it. Okay, next up we're going to have to install our Visual C++ redistributables. So you're going to go ahead and keep your command prompt open, and you're going to run the command choco install -y vc redist 2013 space vc redist 140. Running that command is going to install the distributables. So you're going to see that the packages were not installed. It's going to ask you, do you want to run the script? And you're going to type Y and hit enter. All right. So now that you have your redistributables installed, you're going to scroll down on the document, and you're going to want to close out your command prompt because we're going to have to open up a new one later that is going to be updated because of those files that we just installed. So now you're going to see that we have to install OpenSSL. So you're going to go ahead and go to this website here under OpenSSL and scroll down to the different installations. And you're going to want to install OpenSSL v1.1.w regular Windows 64. And you can see here we've marked it within the Jupyter Notebooks file, but make sure that you are selecting this one here for Windows 64 and you're selecting the executable. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and select that. It's going to download from this website. All right, now that it's done downloading, it's going to tell you that it's not commonly downloaded, so you're just going to hit those three dots and select keep, or whatever the equivalent is for your browser, and you're going to run it once it is done installing. Now, Windows is probably going to tell you the same thing as it did here. Just make sure you hit more info, run anyway. Okay. And it's obviously going to ask you, do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? You're just going to hit yes. And give it a second. This dialog box is going to pop up. You're going to hit next after you accept the agreement, and you're going to want to just install it to the default directory that it offers you, which is Program Files OpenSSL Windows 64. You're going to save it as the default name, OpenSSL, and you're going to want to just have this as the default option here, the Windows System Directory. Hit next, install. It's just going to take a minute to install real quick. And after it's done installing, you can just deselect these boxes if you don't want to donate and hit finish. All right, you can close out your window. So next you need to set a command to run the environment variable so that it'll persist over sessions and it doesn't just work in this one session. So first you're going to go to your Windows search bar. Once again, type in CMD to open up your command prompt, and you're going to run as administrator. You're going to take this command here and copy it. And then you're going to paste it into your command prompt. And you're going to see the thing that says success specified value was saved. So now we're going to have to do something that we're going to be doing a lot. So pay attention. You're going to go to your Windows search bar and you're going to type in the words environment variables. And what you're going to see is this thing come up that says edit the system environment variables, and you're going to select that. And it's going to bring up this little system properties prompt. You're going to want to select the button that says environment variables, and you're going to navigate to this bottom pane that says system variables, because we're going to want this to persist throughout the entire system. You're going to see one that is called path, and you're going to hit edit. It's going to bring up your environment variables. So we're going to go over here, scroll down a bit, and you are going to select this right here, this path, because this is the one that you want to add to your system environment variables. So within this edit environment variables page, you're going to hit new, and you're just going to paste that path within it. So now you should have a new path within your environment variables. That's your C drive, program folder, OpenSSL, Windows 64, bin. You can hit OK, OK, and OK once more. All right. Now you have to install Visual Studio. So first thing that you're going to do is you're going to click this link right here. It'll take you directly to the installation page for Visual Studio. So you're just going to give it a second. You're going to see that Visual Studio installer is, well, being downloaded. And it's going to finish downloading pretty quickly. So you're going to open that file. We're going to navigate back down to where we were on the list. You're going to hit yes when prompted with the thing. All right. So you can see here marked on the dock the exact things that we want to install. Those being the desktop development with C++, and then there's going to be a bunch of files that I'm going to take you through that you're going to want to have selected, and then a couple that you don't want selected when we get to it. So Visual Studio Installer is going to install. Now there was an issue that I was running into earlier, where if you're possibly setting this up on a virtual machine or a new computer for the first time, there may be an issue with Visual Studio not installing files past a certain percentage. So if you run into that issue, what you have to do is you have to restart your computer or your virtual machine. Just do a quick reboot, and then the next time you should try and install it, it should work perfectly. So if that happens here, I'll demonstrate it. If not, then just know that if there's an issue with it, you probably just have to restart your computer. So first we're going to select in this window, you're going to want to select desktop development with C++. Make sure that one is check marked. And then there's only one value from this entire list that you don't want checked, and that's C++ CMake tools for Windows, because we're going to install those manually later. But everything else that's already selected over here, you can leave. And you're just going to hit install, and you're going to see it's about an 8 GB download. Now this is going to take a while, so feel free to just chill out, go do something in the meantime while it's installing. Like I said, if you're setting this up on a new machine, just keep an eye open in case you do get halted at a specific installation point. All right, awesome. So our Visual Studio Visual Studio installer is just about finished. And now that it is, we should be moving into the next steps very shortly. You just got to wait for it to finish up. And once it is, you can go ahead and close out the window. I'm going to start moving on to the next steps right now because that'll just install in the background. But next up, we are going to have to install OpenCV. So you can go ahead and download the zip file from the provided link. It's just going to install the zip file directly. And when you get this zip file, okay, Visual Studio is done. It's cleaning up right now. You can see it's done. Go ahead and close out the window. Visual Studio itself might open up. If it does, just go ahead and close it out. But here we've got our OpenCV zip file. Go ahead and open up that zip. Close out Visual Studio. All right, and it's going to ask you if you want to extract this file. So you're going to go ahead and hit extract. Extract all. And when you're extracting it, you want to make sure that you extract it directly into your C drive. So you can see down below here, that's kind of what you want it to look like. So just go ahead and, select everything here and just remove it. You just want to go directly into your C drive. Go ahead and hit extract. And it's going to take a minute. OpenCV is pretty large, so just give it a little while to install. And boom, it's done installing. So you can see right here, we're in our C drive right now, and you have a folder named OpenCV with all these files in it. So you can go ahead, close these two out. And we're going to open up an administrator command prompt. I already have one open. If you don't have one open, just go ahead and open up an administrator command prompt, but you're going to want to go ahead and run this command, setx. Basically the same thing that we did before for OpenSSL. And you're going to see, once again, the same message is posted out. The success specified value is saved. So what that also means is we have to, once again, open up our system environment variables. You remember how to do that? I'll type in environment variables, open up this window, hit environment variables, and once again, go to your path. Now you're going to add a new path to your path. You're going to hit new and paste the one from the installation document into there. It's going to be OpenCV x64 vc16 bin. Go ahead, OK, OK, OK. All right. Once again, you're going to go over to your administrator command prompt, and we're going to be using Chocolatey again. So you're going to be typing choco install -y cmake. Now you're going to go ahead and see that cmake is going to be installed. So you're going to go want to go back to your back to the document and copy this system path right here. And you can do this while the cmake is still installing via the command prompt, but once again, we're going to open up system environment variables. Oops. Environment. You're going to hit environment variables. You're going to go to path, and you're going to hit new, and paste in the path program file cmake bin. Hit OK, hit OK, hit OK once more, and by this point, your Chocolatey should have finished installing cmake. So we're going to go back to this document. You're going to go ahead and scroll down. And now we're going to have to go to GitHub. So go ahead and open up this GitHub repository linked right here. And you're going to see all of these options right here, right? You can go back to the installation document, and you're going to see red arrows pointed to all the ones that you want to install. So it's the top 4 and then the tiny XML ones. Everything else you don't have to install. So go ahead and install Osseo 1.12.1, Bullet 3.17, CUnit 2.1.3, Eigen 3.3.4, and then tiny XML use STL 2.6.2, and then tiny XML 2.6.0. And you're going to see all of these are installed. Now, all of these will install directly to your installation folder, to your downloads folder. And you're going to want to take note of that. So for me personally, if I open up my file explorer and we go to downloads, you're going to see right here, it's just these values right here, right? So if I go up here to the top, you're going to see, oh, it's just in your downloads folder. So what that means is that you're going to want to copy the path to which these files are located. So what you can do is you can kind of just select them and then hit copy path up here. And you're going to scroll down and you're going to see the exact command that we have to run. So in my case, my download path is going to be that exactly. Minus this last part at the end. So C users Luca P downloads, right? Pretty simple. Now you're going to want to copy this command down here and put it into your own command prompt, but you're going to want to replace the part that says path to downloads with your own path. So I'm going to walk you through how I would do it. So we're going to do choco install -y -s, and then I'm going to put in my path to my downloads. So it's going to be C:\/ users /Luca P /downloads. And then you're just going to hit space and type in the names of each of the things that we've installed. So you can see they're all listed out here. You don't have to type the versions, just type Osseo, CUnit, Eigen, tiny XML -use STL, tiny XML 2, and Bullet. And if you did everything right, Chocolatey should successfully install each of these packages. If you did something wrong, there's a good chance that you either typed the file name wrong, or you typed the wrong download path. Now you can see I actually got an error, and looking at it now, I can see that I accidentally typed tinxyml instead of tinyxml. So I'm just going to go ahead, go back, and type it in properly, just so I can install the last file. So you're going to see, I'm going to go back and edit this, but tinyxml. And again, since my file path was correct, and since I typed in the rest of the correct values, all the other packages were installed successfully. So now you should have installed all these packages. So you're going to see it says installed here, and either all 6 should be listed, or if you made any errors in typing it, you can just go ahead and add them on afterwards. So now that we're done there, we're going to move on to installing our miscellaneous dependencies. So, once again, in our admin command prompt, we're just going to type the command python -m pip install dash capital U pip setup tools dash dash 59.6.0. So you're going to go ahead and copy the command that is under install miscellaneous dependencies, and you're going to go ahead and run it within your command prompt. It's going to install setup tools, and it's going to install pip. And then you're going to go ahead and run the second longer command here that's just going to install a bunch of dependencies that you need, like numpy, opencv, qt5, pillow, pretty much everything that you're going to need with regards to, ROS. So you're going to notice it's going to install a lot of things. This is important, otherwise ROS will not run properly. So in the meantime, while that is, installing, we're going to go ahead and go to this link right here for XML-lint. Now, usually XML-lint, you have to go and dig through a bunch of files, but we've neatly packaged it up for you in a Google Drive link. So when you go over here, it's just going to be one single zip file that you have to install. You hit download at the top here. It's about 22 megabytes, so just go ahead and hit install. All right, and you can see that our XML lint zip file has finished installing, so we're going to go ahead and hit open file. And we're going to do the same thing as last time, where we want to extract all directly into our C drive. So once you hit extract all, you want to go ahead and remove all of that extra part, just go directly into the C drive, hit extract. Just like OpenCV, it's a little bit large, so it may take a minute to actually finish installing. All right, and just like that, within your local C drive, you should see a file denoted as XML lint, and within it, bin include library and share. So you can go ahead and close out those two windows. Now we can see that our Python command is fully finished running, and you're going to want to copy this path here, and once again, open up your system environment variables. Within your environment variables, you're going to want to go to path, open up your path, and create a new path. Paste that in there, hit OK, hit OK, hit OK. All right. Next up is a pretty long step. So we're going to be installing Qt5. First thing you're going to want to do is go to this link set here, and it's going to install the correct version of Qt5, the installer. All right, and now you can see that Qt installer is done downloading. So you're going to go ahead and open that. All right, so now that the Qt installer is open, there's one thing that's very important that you might notice. It's going to ask you to create an account. Now, an account is free, so you can go ahead and sign up. I already have an account, so I'm just going to log in to mine. Log in. And now we're going to set up the Qt installer. So basically, first you're going to go ahead and accept this. And you can select that you're either an individual or a company. Depends on what you're using it for. You can hit next. Now, when it comes to the installation location, you can just go ahead and have it set to the default. Now, here's what's important, right? Under this tree, and again, you can pay reference to the document over here, you're going to want to select the dropdown for Qt 5.12.12 and select MSVC 2017 64-bit. You want to specifically select the 2017 64-bit because you're on a 64-bit computer. Presumably, if you're not, then go ahead and select 32-bit, but make sure it's the 2017 one that matches your version of Windows. Go ahead and hit next, agree, next, next, install. This is going to take a while. It's a long install, probably about 5 gigabytes, I'd say. But just go ahead and wait. All right, and now you can see that Qt isn't finished installing. Go ahead and deselect to launch the Qt Creator. There's no need. And once that's done, you're going to once again open up your command prompt, and you're going to run the first command, which is another setx command. Oops, accidentally typed an extra value. You're going to see success, specified value was saved. Same thing as last time. You're going to copy the command, paste it. You've got 2 to do, so just make sure you do both of them separately. Success, specified value was saved. And just like that, we're done with that. Next up, we've got our RQT dependencies. So first, you're going to download the GraphViz launcher from this link here. When it's done, you're going to open it. It's going to ask you to set up GraphViz. You're going to hit next. I agree. And this is really important here. You're going to want to select the middle option to add GraphViz to the system path for all users. Hit next, and then finally just select install and finish. Just like that, GraphViz is done installing. Finally, you guys are never going to believe this, but we're going to get to install ROS2. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is go to the ROS2 GitHub repository. Now, these are the releases for all of them, but we're just going to want to install ROS2 Iron. And of course, you're going to want to install the one that matches, your computer's version, in which case, Windows release AMD 64. So that is going to install a zip file. Now, once that zip file is done installing, we're going to extract it directly into our C drive under the dev folder. So it's not going to be directly into the C drive. Now, the best way that I would say to do this is to first open up your computer, go to this PC with your local disk, and create a folder, a new folder that you're going to name dev. And then within your dev folder, you're going to want to double click it and create another new folder called ROS2 Iron. Now, you don't have to do this. It's just that if you're following the commands directly from what we specified on the document, this setup environment command is just going to be called differently. However, it does help if you're following in the same exact way that we're doing it. Again, doesn't matter if you don't want to. Just go ahead and put the file wherever you want it to go. But you can see the ROS2 Iron is done installing. So we're going to open up the zip folder. And you're going to extract it into that folder that we just created. So you're going to go to your C drive, go to dev, and then go to ROS2 Iron, select that folder, and go ahead and extract. Now, ROS2 Iron is quite a large file. It's going to take a hot minute to install. It's about 600 to 700 megabytes, so just wait a minute. Might take a while. Especially, again, if you're running this on a slower PC with a slower hard drive or a virtual machine. Okay, awesome. We have now finished installing ROS2. The next step is to test ROS2. So if you had everything working correctly, then calling the environment, the setup environment, should be a breeze. So I'm going to go ahead and restart my command prompt right now. I'm going to open up another command prompt, and again, I'm going to do it as an administrator. Not necessary, but going to do it regardless. And within your Command prompt, you're going to want to make this command right here. Now, again, if you decided not to install ROS2 to that dev ROS2 iron folder, then don't bother with this file path. Just make sure that your file path goes to wherever your local setup.batch file is. Now for me, this is going to be exactly where it is, so I'm just going to copy and paste this command here. When I run it, you're going to see that I get this error, RTI connects DDS environment script not found. You can ignore this. This is one error that you can just totally ignore because we've already configured our path manually, so we don't have to worry about it. Now, the easiest way to test if you are actually, running ROS2 properly is to run this command right here, ROS2 run demo nodes cpp talker. So when I go ahead and run that, you're going to see that it comes up with a firewall, and you're just going to hit allow. And then if we go back to our thing, you're going to see that it is now publishing hello world over and over again. This is a talker file. So what we're going to go ahead and do is open up another command prompt. And we're going to run the same previous command, the call to ROS2 iron. And this is just going to open up a second command prompt that has the same permissions as the previous one. And what we're going to do now is we're going to run a listener. So we're just going to type ROS2 space run demo underscore nodes underscore cpp listener. And now when we run our listener, we're going to allow access again. And you're going to see that it is going to start picking up our ROS2 talkers publishments. Maybe. It might be different because I am not on Wi-Fi or an actual machine. I'm on a virtual machine, so it may be different. It probably is different, and it probably won't run. So regardless, if it's working properly on your system and you're not on a virtual machine, it should run and you should see listening, and then it should repeat hello world, whatever number you're at. So we're going to go ahead and close these out, and if those are working properly, then that means that you've successfully set up your ROS2. Good job. There are a couple errors that I want to just point out that you might run into. If you run into anything involving could not start up successfully or something along those lines, that probably means that your Python is not installed correctly, and you're going to want to go back and make sure that you have Python 38 installed, and that when you call Python via your command prompt, and I'll show you now, it's going to tell you, so if you type Python -- version, it's going to tell me that I have Python 3.8.3 because that's the default one that the command prompt points to. If you go ahead and you type this into your command prompt and Python 3.8.3 is not the one that comes up, and you're having issues running ROS2, that's probably the reason why. If you have any other issues, just feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll try and link any articles that I can find on it. Again, this repository is going to be linked in the comments, so all the instructions here that you saw me run through today are going to be listed in the comments below, and you can follow along on your own time and set up ROS2 for your own system. Once again, I set this up on a virtual machine with a fresh install, so that means that you can do it on any Windows machine, and it'll be pretty much the exact same process, even if you didn't have the same files installed. All right, thank you so much, and good luck setting up ROS2.